Today is a massive day. Today, look, I've been excited for Artemis launch ever since it was announced. Artemis 2 will be launching today, and I'm so excited. But look, today's going to be a wild day when it comes to the market. We look like we're green pre market. Trump is going to do an announcement at 9. Now, is this going to be an announcement of a deal? Is it going to be an announcement of a ceasefire? Or is it going to be ground troop invasion? Some are saying this is a complete fake out. Some say it's a dead cat bounce. So we're going to cover it as it goes on. I think I may stay on later on and we may cover the Trump speech live too. But look, we had a terrible week. We deployed $300 worth of our capital on our $500 portfolio. We managed to completely crumble it with only $300 go down 10%, but we're all the way back at, this is the most recent figure, is 499. So we're back where we started. Rocket Lab, I would expect to start pushing forward today. So Rocket Lab is currently at 65.82. Our average is 61. You do remember I did buy another share there 2 days ago as we started pulling down, and I got it at $56. UMAC and Onda seem to be recovering too. We're currently 15 and 13% down, but I would expect a nice recovery in drones. Horizon Aircraft, we're nearly, it says we're green, but we're nearly going green. 145 is my average, and it's currently sitting at 144. Redwire, again, another one I'd expect a nice little bounce on. We're currently 4% down, and look, with Artemis taking off, with all the excitement around the news, there's one thing I want to touch on today. There's a new ETF, a space ETF, that includes SpaceX. So if you want to invest in SpaceX before it IPOs, there is a new ETF that is out that gives you exposure to SpaceX, and we will get onto that. I may even buy a bit of the new ETF today. But yeah, I would expect the likes of Redwire and Rocket Lab start pushing forward. Guys, do feel free, jump into the comments. Let me know, what should I buy? What should I sell? Do you think I should start taking profits now? Also, if there's anything, it doesn't matter whether it's space sector, whether it's drone sector, whether it's eVTOLs, whether it's healthcare, I really don't care. Do jump in, let us know, and we all have a vote on what stocks to buy and sell. This is a community portfolio. It's not my decisions. It is all of yours. $500, and it's going to be steered by 5,000 people. So I'm so excited to get that over the line. Guys, do vote in that poll too. Do you want me to cover the Artemis launch later? Currently, 67% of you says yes, and 33% says no. There's always some miserable cunt out there, isn't there? I'm going to watch it anyway, but if you guys don't want me to stream it, that's fine. I'll just watch it on my own. So do vote in that poll as we get in. Also, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button as we start getting to it. Right, we'll go across to the market right now. So currently, we're looking quite good. We had the best day on the S&P yesterday on VU. Since May 2025, we did push up 2.86%, 3% more or less in a day. That is massive when it comes to the S&P. Are we going to get a recovery? Did we get the bottom there? Especially if Trump is coming out later on and saying that we're pulling out of Iran. He did announce yesterday that he would expect them to be out within 2 weeks, 3 weeks maximum. So I'm not expecting them to go in heavy on the ground in Iran. However, it is being streamed during prime time TV for a very important announcement. So, is he calling the bluff? Is he going to double down? Is he going to release ground troops into Iran? We'll see the market completely tank off. But that's why we're going to cover it live, because I think it'll be quite interesting to see what pre-market or post-market does once the announcement is being made from Trump. Potentially we could invest after hours, but I'm not a big fan of investing after hours. Also, guys, did you see the new NASA ETF? It's a new ETF, a space ETF. It gives 10% exposure. Let me actually get up what it's about. Goat Game's actually done a nice breakdown, got a nice breakdown of it. So it's around 10% of, there we go, 10% of SpaceX. 10.03% of SpaceX, 7.13% of ASTS. We have 6.82% of Rocket Lab, 6.16% of Planet Lab. EchoStar, a big customer of Rocket Lab, is 5.06%. Filtronic is 4.71%. 5N Plus is 4.7%. OHBSE is 4.35%. And then even you have the likes of Firefly, 4.25%. Anyone that's bullish on the moon, Firefly is a great little one to get into there. And Intuitive Machines, Lunar is 3.83%. And they did get a lovely contract there with NASA. So they have 7 more launches to the moon. Now, they did have a partially successful second mission. And the first mission, are we going to call it partially successful? I think it was more or less a failure, but they did learn an awful lot. But are we going to get a complete successful landing? The landing legs of the Intuitive Machine lander seem to be the problem, but look, they have 7 more attempts to do it. So, yeah, that's a great little ETF. It's currently trading, well, it finished yesterday at $25, but pre-market's trading at 27. There's a lot of excitement around the space sector at the moment, especially with SpaceX. This is great chance, a great opportunity to get exposure to SpaceX before IPO. So, guys, if that is something you would like us to invest into, do let me know. I'm actually quite excited about that because, Rocket Lab is my biggest passion, my biggest position. However, I've always wanted to get into AST, but at the same time, anytime I'd think about biting at the opportunity, I'd just add more Rocket Lab. So it is a nice little way to get exposure across the industry. And look, I'm a bit dubious about a SpaceX IPO. Is it going to push forward extremely hard on IPO? And then are you going to get caught in the lock-in period? And then what happens? So I think this is a beautiful way on getting exposure into SpaceX without actually having to invest directly into SpaceX. Have any of you guys invested in it? Goat Games said he bought in, and within 2 minutes, it shot up like 7%. So I do expect it to be quite volatile, especially with all the hype around Artemis at the moment and all these moon missions. And then we have a SpaceX IPO. We have a lot of catalysts pushing forward, even for the likes of Rocket Lab 2. AST are really starting to push out with their Bluebird. I don't know, this could be a really nice little portfolio, or a little nice addition to your portfolio, because look, everyone and their cousin wants to jump into SpaceX, and with this exposure, it actually gets a lot of new money into the space sector, so it's going to drive the whole sector forward. Andrew says, hey Liam, good morning. Do you anticipate the market stay green? Monday originally started very green, then it tanked very hard. Remember I said on Monday, I said I expected it to be the worst day of the week by far. I said my reasons why. Worst news always happens over the weekend. It seems to get positive throughout, and then we'll anticipate it getting bad again towards the end of the week. But I didn't expect it to go completely green yesterday. Do I think it is a dead cat bounce? I was originally very positive around Trump's threats and pulling out of Iran. I'm gonna not lie to you guys, I'm starting to get a little bit shaky now. The fact that he wants to be aired during primetime TV, and yes, he did say we could be out within 2 to 3 weeks, but at the same time, I don't know, he could double down and say, right, we're going in. on the ground, he could anticipate a 2 to 3 week, but once you hit the ground, that's going to be at least a year long, I do believe. But yeah. So we're 5 minutes away from opening bell. Let me have a look. Okay, so 86% of you want us to stream the moon launch later. 14% says no. That 14%, you can go twiddle your thumb somewhere else. Then, right, guys, smash that like button if you want me to stream Trump's announcement later, and we can actually have a look at the post market. If not many people are interested in Trump's speech later and they just want to watch themselves, that's completely fine. It's just because it's like 2 a.m. in the morning for me when it does, when he does do it. So I need to see if there is interest. If not, I'm not waiting up till 2 a.m. to do a stream. Honestly, Liam, I was more excited about SpaceX before XAI was added. I watched a video recently that showed that XAI cost $1 billion a month to run, and they only have $1 billion a year annually. If you could jump across to X and actually send me that video, I'd actually be interested in watching that. Thank you, my guy. YSL says he wants out. He'll say we won and we did, but we did all we could do for now. We stopped them with an immediate, that word. But then we can go back. Okay, so I was quite interested yesterday with Trump coming out and saying that he's willing to pull out even if the Strait of Hormuz is closed. I see Malaysia today seem to be getting boats through the Strait of Hormuz with no problem, even without them so-called tariffs or tax that Iran are putting on the ships as they go through. 2 million per ship they're starting to charge. And look, if they get away with it and the US do pull out while they are putting this illegal tax on the ships, it wouldn't surprise me if this 2 million goes to 4 million. They keep pushing their luck. Trump did come out and say anyone like the UK that is having trouble with an oil shortage or a jet fuel shortage, they're welcome to buy off the US. The US has plenty, so great for the US economy. And if not, the US aren't going to help you. You can go down to the Strait of Hormuz and collect it yourself because you didn't help the US, so the US won't be helping you going forward. I can see where Trump's going with that. I'm not too happy about it because, look, I like to be protected by the US, but I can see why the US will have said that. I'm concerned that Tesla shareholders rejected XAI to be added to Tesla. I feel like Elon only threw it into SpaceX to guarantee adoption. Is anyone in the same boat as me? Eventually, can you see a SpaceX, XAI, and Tesla all merging together? I feel like they'll all merge together, and I feel like Musk will have a majority vote in them all too. It will be the biggest company in the world if they do a complete merger. Now, I don't expect that over the near term, but I do expect over the long term it to be a complete merger between all three companies. Now it'll be time to get back to the markets, guys. We have about 1 minute until market opens. How do we feel today? Are we going to stay green? Is there going to be a bit of fear as we start pushing through the market, as we start getting closer towards the end of the day and we start getting closer to Trump's announcement? Do you think a lot of fear will start creeping in and people will start, I don't know, getting a little bit worried that it may not all go our way? And we need to think that today is I'd be careful buying into these pumps because it could be a dead cat bounce and we could start seeing lower. Again, is this a relief rally? Is this a complete U-turn and turn into a bull market? Maybe. So we open. There is a gap up. VU has opened 0.67% up. ONDS, are we going to recover? Are we going to get back into that $10 range? Guys, anyone that's bullish on ONDS, J Invest done a great interview with ONDS's CEO, so make sure you check him out. He's another UK content creator. So, look, I'm representing the Irish, the UK side, and I'd love there to be more creators from the Irish and UK side. So yeah, give him some big support. He's a great guy. Zeta up 1.44%. Iron up 1.72. UMAC, is it starting to recover? We did have a nice push forward of 12% yesterday. We got a gap up, so we're back up to $13. We're going to see where UMAC goes. They did have that cash raise. On that, did buy a few shares instant, but I could see UMAC recovering because look, drone industry is starting to follow the eVTOL. Maybe not quite as hard, but yeah. Earth Aviation, finally a little bit of relief. Another gap of 5.3. Are we going to close that gap? Potentially, but we call 480 as the bottom. I'm hoping that 480 is the bottom. If we touch it once more, potentially we could start seeing another push down. If we break that 480, I would expect 350 to be on the cards. Joby Aviation pushing up towards that 850. If we hold 850 by the end of the week, I am extremely bullish on where Joby Aviation is going over the near to medium term. Redwire, will we regain that $9 today on the great day, the Artemis launch? We will be covering it later on, just after market close. It could be an interesting day. We can go from market opening here, market close, then go into the Artemis launch, and then roll over to the Trump speech. But yeah, Redwire pushing up 4.12%. I would expect space stocks, especially with that NASA ETF. You get exposure in space sector. I expect a lot of money to be rushing into the space sector with all the excitement. Yeah, new money coming in. PANW 0.25% up. Nvidia 0.7%. We did see a 5% push on Nvidia yesterday. Tesla, remember you could have got it all the way down around 352. Now trading at 376, 1.2% up. Horizon Aircraft. Many of you got a great deal at 126. We're currently trading at 145. That is my average at 145. I'd be quite happy if these hold 140 by the end of the week. I would expect us to start pushing up and we can start erasing that $1 target out of our brain. Intuitive Machines, I would expect them to finish quite heavily green today. Again, space sector is going to rally, and they do have a lot of missions coming up to the moon. ATAI is 1.4% up. Beta Technology seems to be recovering, where we're going to reclaim that $15 range, 1.84% up. Planet Labs, another great space stock. This is a satellite imagery play, 3.76% up. You're going to see the whole space sector rally today. I'd be careful buying into the pump, guys, because you do have some big catalysts more or less underway at the moment. Ampex, I said it, $14 was my buy range, and we did get down to $14.50, got a bit greedy, did push up around 15% yesterday, and we're up 2.31%. I'm really bullish on battery technology. Rocket Lab, my baby, I do expect it to push higher today. We did have Peter Beck this week change his compensation package. He's hoping to get that change, and that is to pay him $1. I believe it's something like $1 an hour. He's getting rid of all his bonuses, and he doesn't want to be paid any share compensation. So he just wants to push forward on a long-term shareholder value, and he wants all his compensation to go back into research and development on Rocket Lab. So extremely bullish. My CEO is better than your CEO, put it that way. I am extremely bullish on everything Peter Beck does do. ASTI, Ascent Solar. Remember when I said it was a great opportunity at 340 or so? We're currently trading at 414, up another 5%. We did push forward about 20% yesterday. EOS, another big one, had a 10% move yesterday, not 1.51%, has reclaimed that $5 range. The quantum play, so IonQ is up 3.26%. You could have got it all the way down at what, 25.90? But yeah, anything under this $30 range is a steal for IonQ. Rigetti is up 2.71% to 14.14 or 14.40. Qubit or quantum computing it's just fell below that $7 range, but we are claiming back that $7 range, 2.04% up. INFQ is up 0.92 with FEIM up 3.93. IBRX up 1.56. Then we have SoFi. SoFi is up 1%, so is Robinhood. Remember that noise this week where SoFi and Robinhood apparently were not taking part in the IPO of SpaceX? Well, Elon Musk came out and said that was false news. So we can expect to get SpaceX on both SoFi and Robinhood. But if you want exposure into SpaceX, we can go to that NASA ETF. We will go to that NASA ETF in a minute. Velo did get a contract yesterday up 5.54%. Are we going to claim back that $10 range? VSEC, one of Dylan's favorite at the moment, did push forward about 10% yesterday and up another 3.44%. So if you got it when Dylan called it, you would have got it at 164. You're now sitting at 191. Did anyone get in there? Do let me know. Now, let's look at that NASA ETF. So this only went live yesterday. Currently trading at 26.60. It is an interesting one. Like, if you want exposure into SpaceX, it's a nice little one there. Like, guys, we said that at the start, 10.03% exposure into SpaceX should be in before that IPO. 7.13% and 6.82%, both for ASTS and Rocket Lab. This is a fantastic ETF if you want to get into the space sector, and I do expect space sector over this next 6 months to just get money flooding in left, right, and center. Just think, as SpaceX gets saturated out and people start buying in, they're going to look across the sector, and that's where money's going to drip out and flow in. And again, when you start getting ETFs like this, it's going to leak money into all these smaller market cap companies. There's a massive gap between the market cap of what SpaceX is anticipating to be and even the likes of Rocket Lab and AST Space Mobile. So, yeah, do you expect a 10x over the next, I don't know, 10 years when it comes to the likes of Rocket Lab and AST? Yes, of course I do. That's why I'm extremely bullish on it. Rocket Lab was my first and only ever 10x stock. So, yeah, I'm extremely bullish. Goat Games did get into this ETF yesterday, and it did push forward around 7% after he bought into it. It's up 6.18% today. Look, I say don't buy into the pump, but at the same time, it only released yesterday. So as people start learning about this ETF, I will expect a lot more money to rush in. Guys, do you want us to add a share of this new ETF? It could be quite exciting. I wouldn't mind adding, not gonna lie. While Saddle says oil coming out of the Strait will need to pay more tax to that country given higher oil prices. When does electric air take off? We'll find out under the EIPP. I think be at $30 to $40 by end of 2027, in my opinion, once their lockup period is over. They have FAA cert engine news by the end of June should send it up 25%. Electric air will not take over because a spike in oil prices. Look, going to electric, yes, is a great benefit if you're dependent on oil. However, to get it to that stage, you are depending on oil to drive these businesses forward. Research and development of these aircraft require oil. Where do you think your electricity comes from to run your buildings and everything? Oil drives everything. Oil makes the world go round. Let's go back. 91% say you want the moon launch streamed later. 9% say no. So, yeah, I think we will stream the moon launch later. Okay. Let me see. Let's put up another poll, guys. Okay, should I buy into the new space ETF, which includes SpaceX? Yes or no? We're currently pushing further up 6.14%. I wouldn't mind a little market share in there. Do let me know. 100% say no at the moment. So, guys, do let me know. Also, if you're going to that poll while you're there, see them reactions down that bottom right corner. Do smash them 100, 200 times. We did have our biggest one yesterday at 3,400 reactions. So let's get the reactions flowing through the stream. It really pushes us forward, and it will help drive more people into the stream for the Artemis launch. Okay, let's go across and see. Is there any news coming out across the sector at the moment? Okay, Roth Capital has reiterated a $90 price target for RKLB. Great to hear. Artemis is 80% favorable to go off tonight. Breaking news: Ondas completes the acquisition of Worldview on the first day of Q2. So again, Ondas Holdings has acquired another company. Breaking news: Trump has just asked for a ceasefire. Trump says Iran's new regime president, much less radicalized and far more intelligent than his predecessors, has asked the United States of America for a ceasefire. We will consider when the Strait of Hormuz is open, free, and clear. Until then, we are blasting Iran into oblivion, or as they can say, back to the Stone Age. I'm expecting a ceasefire tonight, you know. If he's putting that out already and he believes that they're asking for a ceasefire, I think that's what we can expect tonight. Guys, if you're new here, do smash that subscribe button. 67% of you say yes, we should buy into the new space ETF. What I'm going to do, anyone that's new here, I'll bring up the new space ETF here so you can have a look at it. Where is it gone? Is it behind here? Oh, there we go. Anyone that's just joining the stream, there's a new space ETF out. SpaceX is included in it, so you can invest in SpaceX prior to the IPO. Gives you nice exposure there, and it gives you nice exposure across the industry. Should we buy into it? We know that Goat Games bought into it yesterday. It's quite liquid at the moment. It moved up 7% on the move, and we're up another 6% as we speak. I don't normally buy into green, but it did only come out yesterday, so I would expect a lot of excitement around this. And as people start learning about it, I would expect money to start flowing in. Now, I do think the cost of it is around 0.5%. So take that into consideration when you are buying into the ETF. Walker Wonder Why says, I'm tempted myself. Yeah, I think it's a great one. Personally, for me, I've said it, with ASTS, I've always wanted to get in, but anytime I go to get in, I end up finding myself buying more Rocket Lab. So it's a nice way for me to get exposure into SpaceX too, because I don't know, I'm and on whether I would get in on an IPO, especially if you get in with that lock-in period. It can be a bit worrying. I would expect the IPO to do fantastic, but everyone and their cousin wants to get in, so it's a great way to get a bit of exposure there, but then the whole sector is going to rally too, so I would expect to start pushing forward. While Saddle says, Beta News, Surf Air Mobility plans to launch electric cargo flights this year, followed by passenger service in 18 months. I promise you, we will start covering Beta Technologies an awful lot more once that lock-in period is over. It's just at the moment, I don't think there is much excitement around it where people... What is this? People keep trying to add me to some group with X money, and it is the biggest scam. They're trying to add me into it. X money looks quite exciting, but I'm not joining some random group with a lot of people I don't know. Sorry about that. Jumping across. Yeah, so ceasefire seems to be everywhere. Iran is calling for a ceasefire. Yesterday, Iran said they didn't want a ceasefire, they want an end of the war. Now, what does an end of the war look like for Iran? Are they including Israel in that? Because I wouldn't expect Israel to pull out when the US pull out. But at the same time, Israel is not the US's responsibility. Um, However, without the US backing, are they going to continue to hit as hard? Potentially, because the US has more or less depleted Iran's military. So, yeah. Guys, we will be covering the space, or not the SpaceX, the NASA launch of Artemis 2 later. The crewed mission to the moon. We're not landing on the moon, we're just flying around the moon. I'd expect Artemis 3 is meant to do the same thing. Originally, Artemis 3 was meant to land on the moon, but they have pushed out their timeline. I think the next mission will look pretty similar, but it's the furthest we have been in about 50 years. And I think they're aiming for it to be the furthest humans have ever traveled away from the Earth. So there will be a lot of scientific missions on board when it comes to radiation exposure inside space. Currently, we are what 67% of you say yes, we should buy into the new space ETF. Guys, make sure you're voting in that poll. Do we buy into the new space ETF? 75% say yes. So I think we're going to have a look at it. Okay, so here we go here. I don't think there's going to be much data on it. No, there's not. There's hardly anything on it. Okay, so I'm going to give it one more second, let you guys vote in that poll, and then, yeah, we'll go for a buy-in. Dylan, good morning. We're currently thinking about buying into that space ETF that Goat was talking about last night. This is the holding. So SpaceX, you want exposure into that, 10.03%. Any of you guys that feel like you've missed a boat on either Rocket Lab or AST Space Mobile, you get nice exposure there. And then, look, Intuitive Machines and Firefly, I've always been like tempted to get into them, but at the same time, yeah, I do find myself flowing back towards Rocket Lab. So it's a nice little bucket that you can get exposure into them all. It kind of defends you against something crazy happening with SpaceX on IPO. We know with the lock-in period, it could end up booming. You won't be able to do anything. So yeah, a nice little defensive play when it comes to that space sector. I do expect money to keep rushing in. But what are we saying now? 75% have said yes, buy in. So we'll go and buy into this ATF. What I'm gonna do, we're gonna buy one share and we'll see where it goes. Um, do you know what? I'm happy just to get in. So we'll put an order in. No trading permissions. So it's not going to let me buy in. You must be joking. I don't know why it's not letting me buy in, guys. Let's see if we can do a market order. Oh yeah, it's letting me do a market order on them. No, it's not. Yeah, I can't buy it in this country. That's disappointing, guys. Anyone that wants to get in, do let me know how you get on. But yeah, we that's a bit of news. We can't buy into the NASA ETF in the UK. So we'll see what happens there. Andrew says, "Hey Liam, I just commented on one of your posts on X with the video about XAI being added to SpaceX. I think I posted it twice because I forgot the link. Thanks. Thank you so much, my guy. I'll have a look at that there. Yeah, I've got it. SpaceX IPO. Okay, I love it. I'll watch that after this. So, guys, an update on that. We cannot buy into that NASA ETF. So, guys, do let me know how you get on inside that NASA ETF. We've currently recovered. We had a wild week all the way down to 451, but we're currently back at 495. Do let me know, is there any other stocks you would like us to jump into? Rocket Lab, currently we are 6.3% up in our portfolio. Rhino Skin says, "Hi Liam, everyone away on holiday, so not managed to tune in recently. Still hitting the like though." Rhino Skin, big shout out, my guy. Thank you for showing up. And no, I love it. Enjoy the holidays, my guy. Walker wonder why. I did wonder why I couldn't find it either. Came across VSC, which looks good, but 15 quid to keep tabs. VSC. VSEC or Vietnam Expressway? I presume it's VSEC. Nice little run there yesterday. All stocks seem to be following the same trajectory now at the moment. Oh yeah, it's Visa. Oh, this is the one that Dylan was speaking about, was it? You can't buy NASA ETF as you believe in concentrated investing as I do. It forces you to know your stocks. Yeah, I do believe in constant VSEC. Sorry, no, that's no problem. I should have known it off the top of my head after Dylan mentioned it, so no problem at all. Yeah, I do believe in concentrating investing. I really do need to believe in it with a portfolio like this. However, no, to get that SpaceX exposure, I don't know. I'm bullish on the whole space sector, so I think I would have to break my thesis on concentrating investing for that. But no, concentrate investing. I believe that is the way to go. I think you can over diversify. I think you can start running into little traps there when you start over diversifying. We're trying to follow a little simple thesis at the moment, and maximum would have 10 stocks on the go at one time, unless there was a vote against that. But at the moment, we have 5 stocks: Rocket Lab, UMAC, Hover, ODS, and Redwire. Horizon Aircraft, I wouldn't mind that doing a bit of a run to get a little bit of money back out of Horizon Aircraft. And then Redwire, I would expect a nice push forward. Rocket Lab, if we go back into that $70 range, I will be selling off one of those shares, just take a bit of profit back out. And yeah, that was been a beautiful run all the way from $56 to $70. So yeah, I feel like the portfolio is performing quite nicely considering we've invested through that hard time, and we're already back at what, 497. Guys, anyone that's new here, this only updates once per day. So if you want a updated look on the portfolio, you look up the top here. It's 497.50, and today's daily profit loss is positive. Also, feel free to jump in. Let me know what stocks you want bought into. Okay, so I'm going to take that poll down. 80% of you did want me to buy into the ETF, but we couldn't due to where I'm located, unfortunately. But we will keep an eye on where that does go. Let's see. Okay, this is going to get a feeler on the sentiment. Do we expect positive or negative news from Donald Trump at 9 p.m. tonight? Do we think it's a ceasefire? Do we think it's an end to the war? Do we think there's negotiations, deals going on? Or do we think it'll be troops on the ground and an extension of the combat there? Or do we see a mixture of both? Do you think he will go for a ground invasion with the hopes that negotiations continue to take place and within 2 to 3 weeks, like he said, it will all come to a head? Guys, I can see someone there smashing the reactions. Keep up that, please. Bottom right corner of the chat, if you smash that 100, 200 times, it really helps me out. 100% of you think it's going to be positive tonight. Let's hope we are not in the middle of a dead cat bounce and everyone's getting excited and it turns negative tomorrow. One thing that did worry me is they want to stream it during primetime TV, and I'm kind of thinking, to come out of the war, is he that worried about it going through primetime, or an escalation in the war seems more likely for primetime TV? Walker Wonder Why says, I think it will be positive. From Monday, I thought everything going forward was positive. I didn't expect this big green push over the last 2 days. I did expect Monday to be the worst day. I did say that, but I didn't expect these nice green pushes through. Like, where is VU currently sitting? We're now back more or less where we were the start of Thursday last week. So we've made a nice little game, but at the same time, compared to where we were, we've reclaimed that $600 range though, so I'm quite positive on that. ONDS seems to have just filled that gap. Will we just get a base there and push forward? Potentially 0.22%. As long as the S&P keeps pushing forward, money will start flowing back into the respective place. Zeta is down 1.19%. Iron is up 1.25 with UMAC 4.11. I really want UMAC to start doing well again. Do I want to remain in it for the long term? Not really. I'd prefer my only drone exposure being on BAS themselves. Archer Aviation, we've seen to pull themselves out of that slump. We're now at 528. Hopefully we don't see that 480 again, but it's not off the cards. 2.13% up. Joby Aviation potentially will fill this gap, but I would expect them to start pushing back towards 850 again. Hopefully we can hold 850 by the end of the week. That'd be extremely positive for Joby Aviation. Redwire, I will expect them to claim that $9 range again, and I expect space sector to push forward this week. Especially, look, it's not only the launch with Artemis, but if we get a successful mission, which is over the week, you're going to start seeing contracts flooding in for all the retail space stocks. So yeah, or the commercial space stocks. So yeah, I'm having a good 24 hours, about 6% back so far. Fantastic, my guy. I'm actually so happy in this portfolio. Look, we're up to 498.50. We started at $500, got it all the way down to $450 at one stage, and we only had deployed $300 worth of capital. So I'm happy to be back where we started. But yeah, it's looking shaky. I know one of you guys did put in a $2 super chat last day. I will be adding that to the portfolio as well. I think we need to decide on how much we're adding. I'm starting to think I get $1 a day, where it's about 140, 150 or so a dollar a day from YouTube ads. So potentially I could, any revenue I get from YouTube, what if I push it straight back into the portfolio? Um, Look, it's not going to be much, but at least it gets the ball rolling. What would that be? $11, $12 a week. And then that super chat was $2. So yeah, it could be about 15 quid a week or something like that. I think that'd be a nice little move. What's that? 60 quid a month or so? Pop it on the electric bill, mate. Do you know what? It's not only electric, it's Canva, StreamYard, Gainify, what else? vidIQ. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that comes with YouTube. It's a nice little hobby, but it's a hobby that loses you money. Put it that way. But you know what? If one day, it'll come to fruition. When all these stocks start pushing forward, we will start getting more views as I start getting more comfortable with these opening hours and closing streams. Yeah, it'll start turning a bit into the VTOL weeklies and so. So, no, I'm quite positive. I'm going to keep pushing forward. PANW down 0.84%. Nvidia is up 0.77. Tesla 0.79% up with Horizon Aircraft. Horizon Aircraft holding that 140 range. We hold 140 by end of week. I would expect Horizon start getting another leg up. Will we start testing 180 again? We definitely will if we get positive news out of Trump later. Lunar is up 5.93. Do you know what? My ideal day goes, Artemis goes for launch. There's an 80% go window on that. We will be covering that. If that is successful, push the whole space sector forward. I would believe the space sector will stay forward for the week because the mission is still ongoing. With a successful mission, we will start seeing NASA pushing out contracts. We get a failure in the mission or a slowdown. If we get the launch pushed back and it's not to do with weather, if it's to do with the actual vehicle, I'd expect space stocks to tank because SLS just ain't really doing it, is it? So, yeah, a positive day across NASA, and then if Trump comes out and, in an ideal world, ends the war, but I think most likely it'll be a deal negotiation ceasefire, we'll start pushing the stocks forward, and yeah, I'd expect this industry to start running heavily. And as well, eVTOLs could get a nice little rally, especially as people start taking profits from the space sector. Will they, if there's a positive news across the macro, they could start going into the likes of eVTOLs, into the likes of your drones. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting day today. We're going to cover it all. We're going to cover the open, close, the launch, and then we're going to cover Trump's speech. You should create your top 5 stock list. Have I not got it down, my guy? Rocket Lab, UMAC, Horizon, Ondas, and Redwire. Nah, I know what you mean. I'll tell you my top 5. Rocket Lab at number 1. Archer, I'll put at number 2. Joby, I'll put at number 3. Tesla, I'll put at number 4. Who am I going to put at number 5? I'm bullish on Google, you know. I'm extremely bullish on Google. It'll be between Google, Horizon, Aircraft. Yeah. That's my top 5. What's your top 5? Guys, jump in. Actually, yeah, that's a good one. 100% of you expect positive news tonight. So no one's getting fearful. That actually scares me because everyone's expecting it. So if negative news does come out, this sell-off is going to be immense. Okay, so let's do a Q&A. Where's your top 5 favorite stocks? Jump in, let me know, and we can have a look at some of them for you. I know yours number one is Beta Technology, Well Saddle. And look, I'm not against Beta. I think I've had a few in the comments say, why don't I cover Beta more? Or why am I so against Beta? I'm not against Beta. I think Beta is a great company. It's just there's no point me covering it when no one's going to invest in it because everyone's in the same boat. No one wants to get in for that lock-in period. I'm really interested to see what Max done because Max did buy it on margin. And I believe he bought it in around 14.20. Now, we did push all the way down to 13.50. If he managed to stay in, though, and hold his nerve, we're sitting at, what, 15.45. So he will have made a nice little return there. But it depends. Did he hold his nerve when it started pushing down like 10, 12% on that day? It will be really interesting. I can't wait to hear from him. Guys, if you're just in the stream, do smash that like button. It really helps me out. And also smash them reactions. It really does push me forward in the algorithm. Planet Labs up 5.12%. Anyone buy back into Planet Labs? We did get back below where we were before the earnings report. So anyone that was bullish on Planet Labs, it was a nice little re-entry into it, and especially if you drove through that 30% pump. But I don't know. I'm still quite dubious on Planet Labs at the moment. Ampex, did you get in at 14.50? I was calling for $14. I got greedy. Should have got in. Did push forward about 15% yesterday, but we're currently down 1.48%. Another opportunity. To be fair, Rocket Lab still pushing for 3.63%, but it is cooling off a little bit. ASTI up 4.06% with EOS up 1.81%. IonQ is quite flat at the moment. It's just closed that gap, 0.73. Still a great opportunity for IonQ. Anyone bullish on not on eVTOLs, on Quantum? Great opportunity in Quantum at the moment, especially the fact that anything speculative has been butchered in this past while when it comes to the macro industry. But with Trump tonight, if you truly, truly expect positive news, these are the players that are going to move the quickest, the ones that have been beaten up the most, the likes of your Quantum, the likes of your eVTOLs. Space sector is just going to boom with all this hype happening at the moment if we get positive news. INFQ, oh, that's an interesting one. Do you think people will start flooding out of the likes of Kratos? The ones that have no patience, the ones that have got in late and they'll probably leave. They got in last and they'll leave first. Same with the oil stocks. They got in pretty late and they'll probably jump back out, back into their. They probably sold out their long-term position in the likes of your eVTOL for a loss. And now they'll jump back in once the big green light starts coming through. FEIM up 3.98 with IBRX down 3.52. SoFi, great little opportunity at the moment. We said $15 was a good opportunity, but at the same time, I was getting worried that we were going to break through around 14.90, and if we broke through 14.90, yeah, it would have been a long day. Robinhood, great opportunity. I said anything under this $70 is going to start running nicely. You're going to see a really nice push forward. You could even see back towards all-time highs as a bull market occurs. So Robinhood did push the furthest down in the S&P, but I would expect fintechs to start getting a good bit of love. VSEC, anyone that followed Dylan into VSEC when he called it around 165, and we're currently at 191. He's expecting it to push clean, so we could start reaching to 30 or so back to all-time highs. Are you going to remain in VSEC? Like, if you look at this chart, look at how beautiful that looks. So yeah, I'd expect VSEC to keep pushing forward. Andrew says one of the reasons I've been doubling down on Horizon during this red period is because of all the insider buying on February 10th, 2020. 7 different employees bought 2.4 million worth of stock in 2020. Let me have a look at that. Are you sure 2020? That would have been a long time ago. Ah, 2026, yeah. I can't see it at the moment on the insiders, but if they did, that is extremely bullish. Extremely bullish. So, yeah, I agree with you. 2026, that makes a lot more sense. I thought 2020, that would have been a bit wild. And I'm pretty sure didn't the IPO in like 21 or so? Was it? I can't remember. Right. Let's see. What are people saying? Top 5 stocks. No one's answering me. Please jump in. Let me know. What are your top 5 stocks? Let me have a look at what's happening. Also, let's double check what's going on here. Yeah, show me some love. Smash that like button, please. Not many of you have smashed the like. I really need some love right now, my guy. Need a bit of motivation because, not gonna lie, the short form videos were getting so much love and I was getting so much more subscribers. I'll be real with you. I've probably got about 30, 40 subscribers since starting these market opening streams, and I get fuck all views, put it that way, compared to what I used to get with videos. So I do need a bit of love if you want this project to continue. UMAC. Okay, where's UMAC sitting at the moment? Our average is 1545. UMAC's currently sitting at 1296. You've made me quite bullish on Horizon Aircraft, Andrew. With them insider buys. I'm just very dubious trading on a day like today where we've got 2 really nice days of pumping and it all depends on Trump later. UiPath was a big investment that Cathie Wood was in. I remember UiPath and they changed their management there about it's called Path and yeah. It's been trading in this range for a while, if I remember. Okay. Yeah, I remember looking at it all the way back in 2022. It would have been before I got into Rocket Lab. And we're still consolidating around that range. Mate, that is set for a mega run. Because it's been in this range for so long. It's set for a mega run. When it does, it would be like a spring. And it's beating on earnings constantly. UiPath is a buy right now for the long term, guys. Archer, I love it. Ampex. Have you been in Ampex long? A new bank. I'm bullish on new bank. Apparently, it's the best fintech product out there. It's a big one in South America. Has anyone used Nubank? Do let me know. But Warren Buffett did hold quite a bit for a while. I don't know what his holdings of it is right now, but look, that's just going to keep chugging along. Yes, last year. That's just going to keep chugging along. That's a beautiful little graph there. And Nubank just seems to be pushed forward. I said fintech is going to get a lot of love in the next bull market. And we could be looking straight at it. What are people's sentiments saying? We come out of this war. Are we going to be looking down the barrel of a recession then? And then is that going to cause more scare in the market? Do let me know. You were in Ampex last year. Ampex has ran massively. And that's what you call an investor. That is what you call an investor. You've what 10x? You've nearly 10x. Potentially. Yeah. That is wild. Big up, my guy. Where do you see Ampex going? What's your price target over the next 5 to 10 years? Do let me know. I'm bullish on Ampex. Myself and Dylan are coming up with a thesis, and yeah, we are going to make a long form video on Ampex and try and show you why we are extremely bullish on it. Right. Let me put up another poll. Right. After the war, do we see a bull market or do we see recession fear? Because not much people are speaking about a recession at the moment. But as we complete one problem out, are we walking straight into another one? Do let me know. The new Fed in May is going to drop interest rates by at least 0.5, maybe 1%, in my opinion. And Yimbai says, agreed. Do vote in that poll. Let me know. Are you expecting a big green bull market, or are we getting a little bit carried away and are we going from one problem to another? Justin, Iran says Strait of Hormuz will not reopen based on Trump's absurd displays. Breaking news, President Trump is strongly considering withdrawing the US from NATO. Details include Trump called NATO a paper tiger and said removing America from the defense treaty is now beyond reconsideration. The White House no longer regards Europe as a reliable defense partner after their rejection to help open the Strait of Hormuz. Iran was a test, and we were there for them, and we would always have been there for them. They weren't there for us, Trump said. Secretary of State Rubio called NATO a one way street. Trump says Putin knows NATO is a paper tiger. I agree with that, not gonna lie. Oh, big shout out. Big shout out, my guy. I've just seen that appear up on my screen. Yimboy is a new member. Thank you so much for that. What I'll do, the money for that will go straight into the portfolio. So please let me know, where do you want that to go? What I might do for the stream later on, I might I might put 15 quid into the portfolio, because we're a week doing this stream. So yeah, I'll put 15 quid. If we make about $1 a day, $1.50 a day or so on these streams. And then we got a 2 quid super chat last week. Now we've got another new member there. So yeah, we'll put 15 quid in later. And young boy, do let me know what stock I should buy into, and we'll do that there for you. Thank you. I like your channel. Big shout out, my guy. We're gonna start pushing forward more and more. Look, as I start getting more comfortable with this, we will start rolling back into long form content on Archer and Joby again. It's just at the moment, I think guys are frustrated with me that I'm not creating a lot of videos on Archer and Joby at the moment. There's no news coming out on Archer and Joby, and I don't want to. My thing with putting out content, there's no point me putting out pointless content, because we need to make people excited about the sector, especially in times like this. We don't want people selling out of the sector. And if I'm just putting up some pointless video, it's going to make people a lot more bored about these plays. And no one new is going to come into this sector, especially if there's some boring content coming out. So I'm waiting for some big news in Archer and Joby, and I will start pushing out more content there. But yeah, we're going to continue these opening and closing streams. We will have the Artemis launch later. I'm a big investor in the space sector. That's where I made a lot of my money, was in Rocket Lab. And I expect to make a pile more in Rocket Lab. So yeah, we will be covering Artemis launch later, and then we will be covering Trump and his speech. So yeah, thank you so much, my guy. Big shout out to you. It means defense stocks, including drones, should pick up sales. The world has to rearm. I agree with you, Wild Saddle. I think a lot of weak money will run out of Kratos and the drones because they see opportunities elsewhere. But these guys always look for greener pastures elsewhere. That's why they don't make money, because they can't stay in their long-term conviction plays. When they go down, they jump across to the next exciting sector, and then when that exciting sector fails to boom, they come back and they're not going to make the money there. But I will expect the likes of Kratos and the drones to have fantastic quarters, because yes, they need to rearm themselves. They need to not only rearm what they've lost or replenish what they've lost, but they also need to upgrade their system. So I would expect the defense sectors to keep pushing forward. Wild Saddle says, but eVTOLs are part of the tech stack and should do well. We're in competition with China. The Jetson era has arrived, and there's no going back. Hello, air low altitude economy in 2026. I'm expecting 2027, 2028 to be a big year for the air taxi industry. So, yeah, I'm in agreement there. I'm excited about EIPP. It will be exciting. We'll be hearing a lot more about EIPP very, very soon. Look, we've anticipated Archer's transition to happen this week to next week, and we think it's coinciding with 704AX not taking hover testing anymore. I think they're ready for their piloted transition, but they're not going to do it while the market's in turmoil. Because look, we will know, you will know from the Hustle Brothers if they have done their piloted transition, because we'll know from the flight radar, we'll know from the telemetry. So anyone that thinks the Hustle Brothers are paid by Archer Aviation, I'm going to prove it to you, because why would I announce Archer's piloted transition before Archer Aviation have themselves? Yeah. No, unless they turn off their telemetry, but I doubt they're allowed to do that. Right. Let's see. Guys, do smash that like button. Also, hit that react. See the bottom right corner of your chat? Smash them reactions. 100, 200 times. Really helps me in the algorithm. And especially, yeah, if we're going to be here later, we need the algorithm to absolutely love us, because we'll be going up against some big channels for the Artemis launch. Right. I want to let you guys know the agenda for today is this: the opening show. We're going to do the market closing, then we're going to do Artemis launch live, and then we're going to roll into Trump and his speech. Now, with the Artemis launch, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have the space sector and the stocks on the right hand side of the screen. They're going to be displayed while we're watching the Artemis launch. We'll see what happens in the space sector. I would expect it to keep pushing forward. We'll do the same for the Trump speech. We'll see what happens to the market. But I'm going to jump off now. I'm going to do a few shorts, let them go out, be back here for market closing, and I want to give a big shout out to Yenboy. Thank you so much for becoming a member. If you jump in to the comments after this stream, let me know what stock you want me to buy into, and we'll buy that in the closing bell show. So thank you so much, guys. My name's Ian, one of the Hustle Brothers, and yeah, I'll be here later on. Can't wait to get on with the rest of the day. Thank you, guys, and yeah, we'll see you later.